Hey, I'm here. It is Goose. It is On With The Show. Thank you for coming back and watching the show again today. And we got an interesting topic to talk about today because as I was perusing through YouTube, looking at stuff to watch, I came across a video done by conservative commentator Matt Walsh, who has a YouTube channel, and he's decided he wanted to talk about Disney adults and his, what's the word, disgust for them. At least it sure seems like he has some disgust for them. We have 5 clips we're going to play from that video and talk about it. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, go down, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, bang, bang, bang the bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Like the video because it always helps with the algorithm, and share this out to your friends, family, neighbors, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think at the end of all this. And yeah, let's get into this. Apparently, Matt Walsh put out a video about 2 weeks ago. He said, "Watch these disturbing Disney adults pretend to be normal." Ooh, vicious. Apparently, he says this is cringe. The first part of the video is about 3 minutes long. I know it's a little long, but this is going to set up the entire rest of what we're going to talk about. So let's get into this.
We are now in a season where we will begin to see more and more videos featuring those disturbing and rather bewildering creatures known as Disney adults. We've discussed Disney adults on this show before, although from my memory, they have never made it into the daily cancellation. And somehow, this is an oversight that I aim to rectify today. It turns out I've canceled my own wife during this segment more often than I've canceled Disney adults, so the scales must now be balanced. And these people landed on my radar once again, thanks to a recent viral video. Now, technically, this is not a video from Disney World. This is from Universal Orlando, just 10 miles west of Disney. But the phenomenon captured in the footage is the same that is seen in any video of Disney adults. So here we see a crowd of people rushing through the gates of at the grand opening of something called Epic Universe at Universal. Epic Universe, ChatGPT tells me, is a sprawling, immersive theme park that introduces 5 distinct worlds, each inspired by beloved franchises and original concepts. In the video world, the 5 worlds are based on Harry Potter, Super Nintendo, How to Train Your Dragon, and then 2 others. So here's the crowd that showed up for the grand opening, and in the words of every clickbait bot account on X, tell me what you notice.
Oh, wow. This is it! Wow! This is crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh, no one's going this way. Wow. This is madness. This is so cool. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love this. Wow. Oh, this is great. Wow. Wow. This is crazy. Wow. Oh my. Wow. This is so cool.
The guy recording the video is very impressed. He's repeatedly exclaiming, "Wow, this is crazy," as he stares at a bunch of buildings. There's nothing remotely impressive about the buildings, but apparently it's the most awe-inspiring thing he's ever seen. The video does capture something crazy, though, which is that the huge crowds of people running and skipping, and in one case actually jumping and clicking their heels as they descend upon the Harry Potter and Nintendo theme park, is comprised almost entirely of grown adults.
Yeah, that's his problem, is that the people that showed up were all grown adults. You don't hardly see a kid in sight. Where are all the It's almost like that scene out of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang where they go to the town and there are no kids. Because, where are all the kids? Well, let's put this in perspective. First of all, yes, Epic Universe did open. It does have 5 lands. The 2 lands he could not remember were the Dark Universe, which is Universal's famous Monsterverse, and Celestial Park, I think is what it's called, Celestial Palace. And I think what he fails to do, first of all, let's just get into this. What does Matt Walsh not have? Matt Walsh does not have any imagination. That's right, he has no imagination. Because if he knew about any of this, he would know that it has nothing to do about the buildings that are standing there. It is all about being immersed in the place that you're at. Let me give him a clue. Let me tell you something, Mr. Walsh. The reason people are so excited is because these are places that these people could only imagine to have ever been. They're huge fans of Harry Potter and Super Nintendo and How to Train Your Dragon and the Dark Universe and all that other stuff that goes on. And the idea that they can go to a place where they can walk into their favorite movie set or their favorite Nintendo game is just an amazing concept to them. It's something that they've always... It's like one of those things. If I could be able to go and be able to be at Hogwarts, I would probably be a member of this clan, and I would, me personally, I would end up being Hufflepuff. I mean, because everything with Hufflepuff ends up being for me. All right, but I would probably be, sitting in the Hufflepuff dorms and having butter beer, and oh my gosh, I'm now in a Super Nintendo world, and I'm being chased by Donkey Kong, and this is so cool. Everything looks so real. Yes, that's why they're so excited. The fact that you're looking at probably young adults who, for the better part, they're probably college students. A lot of them are probably college students who have only imagined being a part of this, and yet they get a chance to go. You think it's an amusement park here. It really is not an amusement park, Mr. Walsh. It's a whole experience. That's what it's all about. It's the experience. You're going into How to Train Your Dragon, and you're being a part of that world. You're going into Super Nintendo world, and you're becoming a part of that world. That's what it's all about. It's not about all the rides and everything. In fact, let me show you the next clip, because he talks about one of the most ludicrous things I have ever heard in my life.
I can only imagine being one of the few parents who brought my child to the theme park grand opening on that day, excited to show them the How to Train Your Dragon ride, only to find that there's a 2-hour wait at the roller coaster because a bunch of people who graduated high school in the late 90s had gotten there before me. That's like my kid being forced to wait to play on the swing set at the playground because all the swings are occupied by grown men.
Stupid.
It's like if I took my kid to the mall in December to meet Santa, only to find out that there's a 3-hour wait because a bunch of childless adults are taking turns sitting on Santa's lap and telling him that they want a Barbie doll for Christmas.
Stupider.
It is a sad state of affairs, in other words. And it only gets sadder when you travel over into the world of Disney adults. There are thousands of videos floating around social media like this one, where we see a group of 40-year-old women, no child in sight, dressed like princesses while they record choreographed TikToks at Disney. Now, there are also, and you can see the video there, there are also many videos like this one, where a grown woman breaks down in tears at the sight of Cinderella's castle at Disney. Watch this.
Now everything's technicolor.
Yeah, let's make fun of a poor young lady for crying at the sight of the castle. Now, I do kind of agree that one TikTok is kind of like weird with the 40-year-old women who are like doing the princess walk. I do kind of find that a little weird. That's the only thing, though. I mean, but they're doing their thing. They're strutting their stuff. It's none of my business what I think that should go into their video. But again, Mr. Walsh, I think you missed the point. These are people who may have never have been to Walt Disney World or Disneyland, And this is their first experience of seeing the castle, of being immersed into the park. You know, they may be someone who watched all the Disney movies and imagined themselves as being princesses. And oh, if I could just, for once, just go to the park and see it for myself. I mean, I don't think you have any clue why that poor woman is crying, other than she's overcome with emotion of seeing the castle for the first time. That's the thing. That's the thing. So a lot of people, I mean, me personally, I've been to Disneyland several times. I've taken my children to Disneyland several times. We've gone to Disney World several times. We are all now Disney adults in my household, and we have gone several times on nice vacations to Disneyland and Disney World. And it is a new experience for us every time we go. And what I'm hoping is, because let me tell you something, just truthfully for me, my mom got me started into Disney, taking me to Disney parks. When I was a little kid, my sister and my brother and I, we'd hop in the car, drive all that 6 hours down to Disneyland, spend the day there, sleep overnight, come all the way back home. I know for you that would seem ridiculous, but that's what we did. And then when I got older and I had kids, I wanted to give them the same thing that my mom gave to me, the experiences. In fact, when my kids got older and they became teenagers, we stopped giving them stuff for presents and just said, hey, we're going to Disneyland. And they went, we're going to Disneyland? Yeah, we're going to Disneyland. And we talk about these trips all the time. All the crazy ones, because we're all about the experience. And I'm hoping that they pass that on to their kids. Now, it's their choice whether they want to or not. But it's all about the experience, dude. Which I can almost guarantee is something that you haven't experienced. You haven't had that experience. But Mr. Walsh goes a little bit further when he talks about the plus-size park hoppers.
You've been dying to get the Disney rash? No, probably not, but it does happen. Hey everyone, we're plus-size park hoppers and we range in sizes from 2X to 5X. Make sure you like this video and follow us for more plus-size Disney tips and tricks. If you don't know what the Disney rash is, consider yourself lucky. It's also known as exercise-induced vasculitis. It can happen when you're exposed to heat and if you're exercising for a long period of time, which are both super common in Disney World because you can walk between 5 and 10 miles a day. The rash typically appears on exposed parts of your lower legs. It can cause an itching and burning sensation and just be downright uncomfortable. First aid recommended using aloe vera and cortisone to ease the symptoms. We've also seen some people put sunblock on their lower legs to try to prevent it. That's something we're going to try on our next trip.
Now, I'm not sure if TikTok is using some kind of new immersive digital technology, but I swear I could smell that video.
Wow, dude. Wow. That sounds a bit fat-phobic to me. Oh my gosh, I can actually smell that video. Wow, dude. And by the way, I've never had the Disney rash. Praise the Lord, I've never had the Disney rash. But all they're doing is giving some medical advice or some ideas of, if you happen to get this rash, here's what you can do for it. And here's the thing about plus-size park hoppers. Again, they say they range from 2X to 5X. So they're out there basically trying to show people that no matter how big you are, you can still go and enjoy the Disney parks. You can still go and enjoy the Disney parks. They've also had videos where they've shown that they can't get on all the rides, and it does happen, and they're very accepting of. But for you to come out with a comment like, I could smell that video. Wow. Wow, what a condescending comment that is, Mr. Walsh. Such a condescending comment to women who are just showing how even when you're plus size, you can still go out and have some fun. I guess according to you, you want all the fat people to stay at home. Because that's basically what I got from the comment you said. Because God forbid all these fat people get out there and they go to Disney. Wow, dude. Let's go to the next clip.
And of course, the adults who like to play with toys and go to Disney World dressed like Disney characters will often demand that the rest of us demand to know why the rest of us care. How are they hurting anyone? Well, I mean, this is how. Kids cannot compete with adults. If a critical mass of adults become consumers in industries that were once kid-centric, those industries will become increasingly adult-centric. Spaces that were meant for children and families will become spaces for adults without children. And we're seeing this happen all over the place. Fast forward another 10, 15, 20 years, and not only will Disney World be primarily occupied by childless adults, but it'll be considered rude to bring your kids because they ruin the fun for the adults. That's the way this is headed. And this is why we care. It's not just that we're creeped out by the Disney adult types because they're weirdos, although we are and they are. It's also that we as adults with children want to maintain at least some of the spaces in society that were meant for and built for children and families. Most of society is built for adults and caters to adults. There are not many places that families with young children can go without feeling like they're imposing on everybody around them. And now even those few spaces are becoming increasingly adult-oriented, all to cater to grown-ups whose tastes and interests have not matured at all since elementary school.
Okay, let's get into this really quick. First of all, I have been to Disney parks. I've been to Disney World, been to Disneyland many times. Not once have I seen or heard a Disney adult go to a parent or something and tell them to shut your kid up. I'm trying to enjoy this. Not once. Not once. And going back to a couple clips before, we talked about how, spending 3 hours in line for Santa Claus, which is the dumbest example I've ever heard. All right, no one stands in line for 3 hours for Santa Claus. In fact, we didn't even stand when we saw Santa Claus at Disneyland. We didn't even wait 3 hours. We got in there pretty quickly. We didn't care if it was, and the people that were in front of us all had kids, and we were very patient, and we just let them take the pictures, and everything was fine. Your example is ludicrous. Your example is ludicrous, Mr. Walsh. Do lines at amusement park rides get long? Yeah, they get long. They get long for everything. Which is one of the reasons why Disney has, the Fast Pass or the Genie Plus or whatever they call it now. So that way you don't have to stand in line. Matter of fact, what's interesting is that Disney parks have a specific spot for kids to ride rides. And no matter where, I've gone to, we stood in line for Dumbo for 40 minutes. It happens. You're gonna stand in line for something. It just happens. It just happens, dude. But to sit there and go, the reason you're going to stand in line for 3 hours to see Santa Claus is because a group of childless adults are on the front getting their picture taken, telling them they want a Barbie doll. That is the dumbest, most ludicrous example I've ever heard. And to try to compare that with a ride, it just tells me how ignorant you are. Yes, there are going to be lines. At all parks, there are going to be lines. That's part of the experience. Unless you're going to, like participate and get the GD Plus, where you can get the lightning lanes and get in there faster. And even sometimes when you get the lightning lane, you get in there. Sometimes you're going to be waiting, because that's just the way life is. Life is just going from one line to another and waiting. And I'm sorry if you have a problem with your child having to stand there and wait in line. But you know what it does do? It teaches them patience. Patience. It teaches them patience. It teaches them anticipation of what the ride's going to be like when they finally... That's why sometimes they have these pre-shows for the line, so that you go through the pre-show and you see that and you have the experience, and you go through another line, you get to the ride, and sometimes the cues for these rides are more interesting than the ride itself. But, I don't see how that all of a sudden, Disney adults are going to be upset because little Johnny over here who's crying is going to ruin their experience. Now, let me explain another thing to you. Are there places in Disneyland and Disney World that are adult-centric, that only adults can go to? Yes. They are designed that way. Certain restaurants are designed that way. Certain restaurants are designed for people who are 10 and older because of the way the restaurant is. But I've never in my entire life, and I've gone to Disney parks a lot. I have friends of mine who've gone to Disney parks a lot. We have never seen a Disney adult yell at a parent to shut their kid up because I'm having an experience here and your kid is ruining it for me. As a matter of fact, the interesting part is I've seen parents lose their mind more than I've seen Disney adults. I've seen parents absolutely lose their mind over, whatever. The bubble wine and it wasn't the right cupcake, and oh my gosh, we had to wait. We waited so long to see a character, or they closed the line. How dare they? That's just how it works. All right. Your examples, and here's the thing: his examples are absolutely ludicrous, and I'm going to tell you why with this next clip.
I was passing on those experiences. The park is no longer a memory that belongs to me. Now it belongs to my kids. And now when I'm back in the area, and on the rare occasion that I drive by that same park, as I actually did somewhat recently, I'm overcome with a nostalgia again, but not for when I was 5 years old and my parents took me there. Now I have nostalgia for when my oldest kids were 5 years old and I took them there. I let go of my childhood attachment to this park. Now it's a new kind of attachment. I'm not an adult still wishing that I was 5 years old. I'm an adult reminiscing about the wild-eyed wonder and innocence of my own kids. This is how it's supposed to work. This is the natural and healthy course of things. This is the process of growth and maturity that Disney adults are refusing. Although admittedly, having said all that, I have no interest in taking my kids to Disney World anyway. Theme parks are hot, crowded, and miserable, whether you're a parent or a childless adult. I'd rather be thrown in a wood chipper than take my kids to Disney World, frankly. So I don't have a lot of skin in this particular game, but it's the principle of it.
Oh, it's the principle of it. But you've never gone to an amusement park or taken your kids to an amusement park. So why do you care? Why do you care if other people go to the parks if you don't go? First of all, it's not like we're using your money. It's kind of like, first of all, the first part of that video is he's talking about how in a park that he used to go to as a kid, he then took his kids to, and now all of a sudden he thinks about that park as not when he went there, but when his kids went there. Well, gee, genius, that's the same thing we do. I think some of these Disney adults go to the parks because they had parents like you who wouldn't take them to the parks. And so the only way that they're able to find out and see what is that they go themselves. And they actually like it. And they're going to go back. And they're going to invest some time and some money. And woohoo, honey, let's go. We got 3 days off. Let's head to Epic Universe. Let's go to the Magic Kingdom. You know, if you have no skin in this game, then why do you care what the rest of us do? It makes you out to be a pompous ass. No, don't get me wrong. I agree with you. The parks are hot, and they're crowded, and they're expensive. And that's and sometimes that's part of the joy. That's part of the experience. But for you to denigrate a group of people, may I remind you that there are those of us out here who actually make a living being a Disney adult as we go to the parks and we, vlog our experiences and talk about certain things and be able to pass information along to others who go to the parks with their kids, alone, with their spouses, on all these different events. I lose a lot of respect for somebody who points to you and say, you shouldn't do this, but then they've never done it themselves. They've never bothered to experience the same things you're doing. The same joy there. It's like I'm saying, Mr. Walsh has no imagination. No imagination. He just wants to be that person to point out that you're weird. I'm perfectly fine. Because this is the way things should be. I'm perfect because I followed the rules and this is how it's supposed to be. I am an adult. And I don't participate in any of this Disney foolishness. Let's wrap this up. I'm going to wrap this up with some quotes from Mr. Disney himself. One being from Disneyland, who says, "To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to the world." And let me repeat this one spot. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the facts that have created America. You get that, Mr. Walsh? You understand that? That's a quote from Walt Disney. Here's another quote from Walt Disney. I think what I want Disneyland to be most of all is a happy place. A place where adults and children can experience together some of the wonders of life, of adventure, and feel better because of it. Let's say it again. A place where adults and children can experience together some of the wonders of life. That's right. So, in other words, he wants adults to experience the same type of experiences that kids do. Well, with his last quote, I think makes all the more sense. Adults are only kids grown up. Walt Disney. That's right. Adults are only kids grown up. Now, maybe like I say, you have no interest in going to an amusement park. You have no interest in taking your children to an amusement park. So I have no skin in this game. So I don't know why I'm talking about this, other than I have to cancel Disney adults because I've canceled my wife more than I've canceled Disney adults, and I must rectify that. And today I rectify it by showing videos of TikToks of people who are acting like children when they should be acting like adults. Let me remind you that Disneyland was made for kids of all ages. That he built it for not just families to enjoy, but for everyone to enjoy. And I think that's what you're missing, Mr. Walsh. I don't know why you have such a disdain for Disney adults. Maybe it's the fact that you're jealous of the happiness that they have in their life. Yeah, going to a Disney park is stressful. It's very stressful. But let me tell you something. Every time we go, we have a great time. We make memories as a family, and we talk about them for years. And we, even though we always seem to plan our next Disney adventure after the one that finishes. We don't know how we're going to do it, but we always plan on doing one. And we always have a good time. So maybe that's what has to happen, Mr. Walsh. Maybe you need to experience a little happiness and imagination in your life. All right, I'm done with this for today. Thank you very much for watching and for letting me rant on this. If you like the video, give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, go down below and hit the subscribe button and bash the bell. Bang, bang, bang the bell for notifications. So when you always know when a new video is uploaded. Share this out to your friends, family, neighbors, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this, because I don't know why some people have to involve themselves in something that they're not even interested in doing themselves. I am Goose. This is On With The Show. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the other side.